Hi, I'm Kathy from Night Owl Quilting Studio. And guess what? Today is Tuesday. So I'm here today to demonstrate to you the Tuesday tip. So my demonstration today is when to know when to change the blade in your rotary cutter and how to do that. First of all, we have two different types of rotary cutters and blades. We have the 45mm blade, and that goes with the small 45mm rotary cutter. And then there is also a 60mm blade, and you would use that with the larger 60mm rotary cutter. So you want to make sure that when you're purchasing a new blade, you get the right size. Otherwise, the blade will not fit properly on the rotary cutter that you have. So let me show you how to change your blade. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about what to look for when to know that your blade is getting dull and it's time to change it. If you're using your rotary cutter with your acrylic ruler and you're cutting along and then you put the blade down and you go to take away the fabric that you've cut, if you have little strings of fabric placed pretty evenly along the edge, that's an indication that somewhere along the circumference of the blade, you have gotten a little nick in the blade. And so it's not cutting in that same spot equally all the way up. So that would be a time when you'd want to change the blade. If you find that you're cutting 2 or maybe 4 layers of fabric and the second layer is barely getting cut at all, that's another indication that the blade is getting dull and it would be time to change the blade. Or if you find that it's shredding the fabric as it's cutting. So if any of those things are happening, then you know it's time to change your blade. One thing that you might not know is there is a right and a wrong side to a rotary cutter. And the rotary cutter is set up that way so that if you were right-handed, you could use it, and if you were left-handed, you could use it. So if you are a right-handed person, your blade should be on the left-hand side of the rotary cutter when you're looking at it like this. If you are a left-handed person, you'd want that blade to be on the right side, so it will go on the opposite side. If you put it on the wrong side and you're trying to cut, then there's about a 1/4 of an inch space here at the end of the rotary cutter that is up against the ruler, and so your measurement is off by that 1/4 inch. So you want to make sure that you're putting the replacement blade on the right side for your right or left-handedness. So what you're going to do is you want to lock it in place so that the handle will not come in if you have this type of rotary cutter. If you have the straight bladed rotary cutter, then you would make sure that the handle is pushed upward and the blade is protected at the end so that it's locked in place. The last thing you want to do is touch close to the blade and cut yourself. So I put my finger on this little, I guess we'll call it a little nut cover here, and then we'll turn it over to this side and we're going to remove the screw. And on this particular type of rotary cutter, there's a screw, and then there are 2 washers on there. So you can see that I have a large one and a small one. Once I have those off the rotary cutter, then I can just drop the blade down onto a cloth. And I usually keep a couple of paper towels handy when I'm doing this. You'll notice also that because fabric is very linty and dusty, oftentimes you'll find a lot of dust and lint underneath the blade. So that's a perfect time to clean that off. If you need to use a damp cloth, you can go ahead and do that, but generally a dry paper towel will work just fine. And clean all of that off. If you have purchased a package of replacement blades that has more than one blade in it, then I take a black marker and I write the words new on the front. That way I know that all the blades in here are new. And then, or if I buy one that has just a single blade, I will take the blade out of here, and then I use this to put the used blades in. So I would take a marker and I would mark the package used. You don't ever want to toss the blade into the trash can as it is. You want to protect it in some kind of a package. Generally, you can fit 5 to 10 blades, used blades, in one of these little containers here. If you have a multi-pack of blades, you would just gently put them out into your hand. There's going to be a little drop of oil in between each blade in here so that they will separate easily. All you want to do is just slide the top blade out like this, being very careful not to cut yourself. Put the rest back in the package, and then I try sliding it again. And you see here, I accidentally pulled out more than one blade. There's actually 3 blades here in this group. So you want to make sure that you're just getting one blade. If you accidentally put 2 blades in, which they're very thin, so that sometimes can happen, and you go to cut and you find that you're getting a very uneven, ragged cut, take the blades off and make sure that you have just one. And I usually just do a little tap on the paper towel to get that little bit of excess oil off. Then I can take this little cover off of the used blade. I'm going to place the blade on top of the rotary cutter. I'm putting it on the left-hand side because I'm right-handed, but I could put it on this side also. Then I'm going to put this little cap cover back on. Again, I'm going to hold my finger down. I'm going to take this first flat washer and put it on top there. Now you'll notice this washer, I hope you can see the angle in here, because this little washer has a little bow in it. If you put it on your rotary cutter so that it bows down, it's not going to fit the blade properly, and you'll get some wobbling when you go to cut. The bowing part should be facing up when you put it on. It also has a very specific shape. It has flat sides and rounded ends, and that should fit onto this little screw here only in one position, because the sides of the screw are flat as well. On this piece, one side is completely flat, and the other side has like a little indentation or a little well in it. You want to take the indented side and put it down towards the rotary blade like this. And then you can just do a really nice hand tightening. It doesn't have to be super, super tight, but you want to do a really good hand tightening on it. Once you have your blade on like that, then you can release your lock, and you can check to make sure that it comes out smoothly. You could also put it on your mat and make sure that it rolls smoothly, that it's not wobbling, that it's not feeling like it's loose. And then you should be ready to go and cut your next nice piece of fabric for your quilt. Then obviously I would take this used blade and I would put it in the package that I marked used, and I would be ready to go on my next quilting project. I hope you found this tip helpful. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Talk to you later.